With the wide release of Past Lives, I was reminded of two things. One being how lonely I am, and two, how great of a film studio A24 is. We don't really have to get into that first one, so let's just talk about A24. A24 started as a small indie distributor, but turned into one of the greatest movie studios of all time. Its first production, not first movie, but production, was Moonlight. So it clearly started off strong and held that to this day. And I'm not gonna lie, it produces tons and tons of content in general, even more than its biggest competitors. And a lot of that content is just forgettable. I mean, honestly, I don't even know half of them. But if that's what it takes to end up with these masterpieces, then that's completely fine with me. If there's one clear thing about A24, it's the variety. Hereditary is one of the greatest horror movies I've ever seen. Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of the most creative and relatable movies I've ever seen. And Moonlight is one of the most emotional and well shot films that I've ever seen. Point is, you know you're getting something great most of the time when it comes to A24. Most of the time. Look, The Idol just doesn't count. This has to be a joke. Have you all seen a scene from the show? Cue a clip.
Stomp you, I'll fucking curb stomp you.
I'm sorry.
I'll fucking curb stomp you.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you were interpreting, but
Let me see
I wasn't
it.
doing anything.
And the Oscar goes to...
Very well deserved. Give it up for The Weeknd.
I'm sorry.
I'll fucking curb stomp you.
I'm sorry,
Besides these unfortunate rarities, A24 is usually associated with well-shot, deep stories, and above all, a director's voice. There's this pattern that I've seen amongst all the films, despite how different they could be, and it's the director's voice. For example, take these two fictional films, In Everything Everywhere All at Once and Hereditary. The Daniels wanted to tell a story rooted in real-world themes surrounding an immigrant family. Ari Aster envisioned a film rooted in family dynamics, trauma, and grief. Now, of course, in neither case is the storytelling reaching that height without the performances from Michelle Yeoh or Toni Collette. But the point is, there were equally talented crews behind and in front of the screen, telling either a story that scarred me for weeks or a story that felt like it never slowed down. There was this meaning behind the screen that I fully understood. I made a video way back before my channel was really established, but I mentioned exactly how this movie's relationship felt exactly like my immigrant parents' relationship with me. The tough communication and different worlds we live in despite being under the same roof. It was as emotional as it was entertaining to me, and to go in that many directions, take so many creative risks, and still pull it off, solidified both A24 and the Daniels. And in a similar way, A24 kickstarted the careers of Greta Gerwig, Robert Eggers, and Ari Aster. All amazing directors that proved the vision A24 had and why they started as a company that supports indie films rather than producing their own big budget ones. And past the directors, can we talk about the returns that A24 encouraged? From Ke Quan to Brendan Fraser, we were robbed of these amazing actors for far too long. The Daniels believed in Ke, an actor who simply didn't get the call because there was no demand for Asian American actors. And luckily that's not the case anymore, in the slightest. Go Asians. I could say that, I'm a Southeast Asian. And then the legend Brendan Fraser, who went through so much and admitted that a part of the reason he even came back was just for money. But he also said the more important reason, which was the desire to act. And man, did that performance show the desire.
I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life.
It's really hard to not sound pretentious and stuck up like one of those people who go to art museums but definitely have no idea what's going on when praising A24, but it really is like watching art. Because as much as I praise the director's voice, the best of the best A24 films and shows are great because of every part of it. The actors going above and beyond, the soundtrack just hitting at the right moment, and the story hitting every emotional chord. It just all comes together, and whether it's a horror, a multiverse, or simply two former loves reconnecting, it's beautifully spoken.
Maybe, Pam, we could do something with this, but you can't take responsibility for anything! So now I can't accept.
I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life.
如果有来生，我还是会选择和你一起报税、开洗衣店。
만약에 네가 한국을 떠나지 않았다면 내가 널 찾았을까? 우리가 사귀었을까? 헤어졌을까? 부부가 됐을까? 아이들을 가졌을까?
너는 나를 왜 찾았어?
한 번 더 보고 싶었어.
Now last but certainly not least, my favorite part about A24 films is its quote-unquote lower budget. The reason I say quote-unquote is because it's still a lot of money. You know, it's usually in the millions. But in the movie industry, the 25 mil spent on Everything Everywhere to the only 3 mil spent on The Whale, it really is low compared to the average budget of 50 to 100 mil. And the reason I love this is a personal aspiration, because as much as I love movies, I want to one day create one. Or be in one, but that'd mean my acting chops would have to improve quite a bit. Either way, for aspiring filmmakers, it's a beacon of light. The Whale was predominantly set in one place. Past Lives was also predominantly in 2 real settings, New York and Korea. Both were completely rooted in reality and a story that aspiring fans can make given the dedication. Low budget is where movies started, and despite popular belief of A24 fans, I still do enjoy big budget movies. I know a lot of people take advantage of what A24 is to bring down superhero movies or action movies, which yes, I can agree it's getting repetitive, but you really don't have to bring them all down just because A24 is so creative, original, and all around great. Rather, the emphasis should be on what I just said and what it means to make a great movie. And to be honest, it doesn't lie in the budget. It never did. It lies in the director's voice, the story that they want to tell, the way they tell it, and the freedom they're given to show it. Actors also have the choice of enhancing it or just collecting that paycheck. But I could say in most cases when it comes to A24, the actor is not doing it for the paycheck. And again, there are more than a few bombs. Some may be the nuclear bomb itself, but overall A24 has created my favorite works, and I believe that they will continue to do so through this amazing creative freedom they allowed and straight up showcase of talent that this movie studio has become known to produce. Now, for anyone who's been watching my channel, or if you just click on it, you could see that this is not my typical video. Now, long story short, the recent video I made just didn't do well, and so be it. You know, the algorithm doesn't always work with you. But one thing it did make me realize is I've been holding back on a couple of videos that I've wanted to make for a while now. And yes, my channel will still be predominantly anime. It's how I built it, and it's the niche that's gonna push me, you know, because YouTube unfortunately will not push diverse channels. And I think if I could build a base, you know, by putting out a couple of diverse videos, people will put faith in it, hopefully. And then eventually I could, you know, cater to both people who love anime, people who love movies, and hopefully people like me who just love both. But yeah, I've decided that, you know, it's about time I just make those videos I want to make. My next video is likely going to be a manga video. I mean, if I don't get views, I don't get views. That's not why I made the channel in the first place. It is tough to see, you know, my video do much worse, especially when I really did think it was better than a lot of my videos. But you know, screw it. I'm a goldfish, got short-term memory. That's in the past. Hopefully this video does well. If it doesn't, it'll also be in the past, and I'll just keep looking forward. So yeah, appreciate all of you who tuned in. Hopefully you'll be here for the next one.